Hi there, I'm Jeff Dyer from Sageville Elementary School, and with me today is...
Hi, I'm Donna Schmitt. I'm the tech coach at Carver Elementary.
And today what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a presentation on Microsoft OneNote Class Notebook Creator. And we're going to start with this PowerPoint. And before we get too far into it, we do want to do a review of Zoom, just kind of the how-tos of Zoom. So we'll take a quick look at the features on the Zoom toolbar down below as a reminder, in case you forgot the last time you've used Zoom 5 minutes ago. And these are our norms for today. Take a look at those, please. So our learning targets for today are, we're going to take a look at Microsoft OneNote Class Notebook. We'll demonstrate setting up a new notebook. We'll explore the main features of the software, and we will also discuss potential applications for your classroom. All right, and to start with today, we are going to be watching a short video. It's about 7 minutes, and it will go over from the very beginning how to access Class OneNote, how to create your first one, what some of the main features are, and how you might use it. OneNote Class Notebook is a digital tool that's a lot like a physical notebook, a whiteboard, and a filing cabinet all in one. You can stay organized and keep track of student work. You can provide feedback to students as well. It's also a personal workspace for students, a library for resources, and a place for students to collaborate on lessons and activities. Some of what I'm using in this video is from the OneNote for Teachers website. There's a lot of great resources on this website, and you can certainly go back to that for further PD, or if you think this video is horrible. Start by logging in and going to your Office 365 tools. To clarify, your OneDrive is your storage in the cloud. That's where you store all your files. OneNote, while similar to Class Notebook, is geared more towards staff use than students. Your school probably has several OneNotes used teacher to teacher or with your entire staff. Class Notebook is specifically for teachers and their students. And don't forget, every OneNote Class Notebook that you create will automatically save to your OneDrive. Once you click on OneNote Class Notebook, you will choose Create a New Notebook, and then you name it. When you set up your class notebook, there are 3 sections. The collaboration space is where students work together on projects with teacher direction. Both the student and the teacher can edit in this space. The content library is where the teacher can post items for students. Teachers can edit, but students cannot. The student notebook is a private space for each student. Both student and teacher can edit. The student cannot see other students' notebooks. Next, you can add another teacher if you want by entering their email address. Finally, you add your students. Just type in their last name and find them from the drop-down menu. After it's created, you can preview what the teacher view and the student view will look like. OneNote Class Notebook has some suggested default sections. You can keep them, you can delete them, or you can add your own. When the notebook is ready, you can start using it right away. You can work in the browser or the app. Today, we're going to be working in the browser. There's a default welcome section that has some additional information you might need if you have questions later. Each of the sections in the Class OneNote will have this welcome section. To add a new section, you just have to click the Add Section button. You can add as many sections as you'd like, and you can have as many pages in each section as you'd like. In the student view, students can only see their own student notebook. You can manage your notebooks easily. The Manage Notebooks tool is an easy way to select a specific Class OneNote. You can also enable a teacher section only. This, of course, is viewable only by the teachers that are invited into the section. Here's a cool thing. You can create a new assignment and then click Distribute Page, and then choose the section you want to put it in. That assignment goes immediately to the students' notebooks that you select. You can send this out to one student, a few, or everybody. In the collaboration space, you can also add a new section. Students can only see the work of their fellow group members, but teachers have a bird's eye view of all the students. You can create as many groups as you want. Within those groups, students can add or edit, but again, they can't see the work of other groups. Page edits are tagged with student initials, so you can see who's doing what. You can also lock the collaboration space at any time if you want students to stop working, and you can go back and unlock it whenever you'd like. You can also create a parent or guardian link in the content library of each student's own notebook. Parents get a view-only mode, and they cannot edit or make comments. You can insert a table into your notebook page very easily. When you want to insert a file into the page, you have two options. You can insert as an attachment or as a file printout. An attachment is like an email attachment. The student will have to double-click to download and open the file. A file printout means that the file is embedded into the OneNote page. You can also insert pictures 3 different ways. A picture saved to your device, a picture you take with your webcam, just make sure you've combed your hair and aren't wearing a ratty old t-shirt, or a picture you find online. Access the Draw tab, and there are many different tools you can use to draw or write directly into the notebook. In the View tab, students can click Immersive Reader and have the text read aloud.
The collaboration space is open to everyone in a class, and all class members can read or write on anything in this part of the notebook.
You can also use the Forms button to create forms and quizzes and immediately insert or link them to your class notebook. Of course, you can also add web links, audio recordings, symbols, math equations, emojis, stickers, and the kitchen sink. Actually, just kidding about the kitchen sink. That would be weird. OneNote Class Notebook is just another digital tool that you can put in your tool belt. It can work hand in hand with Seesaw and any other applications that you're using in your classroom.
Hi everyone, welcome to OneNote Class Notebook. In Jeff's video, you saw some pretty cool features of Class Notebook and how easy it is to make one for your own students. I will be taking you on a tour through a class notebook that I created and showing you ways you might use this tool to change the way that you teach. I will be highlighting 6 reasons to use a class notebook. When you use the app to create a class notebook, you will get these 4 notebooks. 1, a collaboration space. 2, a content library. 3, a teacher-only section. And 4, a set of student notebooks. A collaboration space is where teachers and students can work together. A content library is where the course content can be stored. Students can copy information found here, but students cannot make any changes to the content library. Next is the teacher-only section, and as its name implies, only the teacher or a co-teacher can view its contents. And the app will walk you through creating a class set of notebooks for students, which can easily be done by entering your students' names. We're going to take a look at the collaboration space first. The collaboration space is great for collaborating on inquiry projects or brainstorming in real time. I want to show you some ways that a teacher could use it for inquiry. Take a look at this page. Suppose that you're a 3rd grade teacher wanting to help your students learn about plant and animal adaptations and how living things react to extreme changes in their environment. You'd like your students to design an imaginary animal or plant and one that is adapted to the extreme environment. You could tell your students to go to this page and to enter a description. Then they could enter an adaptation, they could upload their drawing, and then finally their podcast. You could link to the website to teach them how to make a podcast. The other thing you can do in this OneNote is upload a PowerPoint with all the directions to do so. In that last example, you saw how you could use a collaboration space for your entire class. What you can do is also make a collaboration space private to groups of students. To do this, you would simply click on Class Notebook, Manage Notebook, and from here you would click on Collaboration Space Permissions. What I'm going to show you next is an example of two different inquiry groups, each working on their own private collaboration space. Ella here is a member of Team 1. She found a great video about the tundra having a short summer. She copied the URL and pasted that into this webpage. Ben commented that he watched her video, and then he also noted that he went to KidWrex, typed in tundra, and found an article that he thinks that the group should read. This team decided that they would create a table for the group members to contribute to. Keep in mind that only these 5 students and the teacher can see the contents of this private collaboration space. Another way to utilize the collaboration space is to use it as a digital whiteboard. This would be very helpful for distance learning, I think. For example, math teachers could demonstrate how to solve a problem and record their voice at the same time by clicking on Insert and then the audio button. Students can play back the recording anytime. You could date this page and make it easily accessible for a student if they miss a day of school, or for a parent who wants to see the lesson so they can help their child with their homework, or for a teacher who wants to reuse the content from a colleague. I've heard from quite a few teachers who have been using seesaw comments to help their students during distance learning. Wouldn't it be nice to tell students to go check out the digital parking lot for help instead of having to repeat your voice comment 25 times? We all know that nothing can replace face-to-face collaboration, but with Class OneNote, there's a way for students to work together in real time when they're not at school. Whether you're teaching face-to-face or you're on a Zoom call with students can be directed to log on to the class notebook and respond to a prompt like the one you see on this page. This one says, look at the picture below and tell me, what do you see, what do you think, and what do you wonder? Each student could get the opportunity for their voice to be heard by clicking in the table and writing in a comment. The nice thing is that this brain dump can be saved for later use. And how about a collaboration space to support students' social emotional well-being? You could post a joke of the day, upload a coloring page, celebrate birthdays. You could post SEL learning activities, or you can even take a poll using Microsoft Forms. You could easily find out what to wear on your next Zoom call by clicking on Insert, going over to Forms, and either creating a new form on the spot or uploading a form that you may have already made. Next, we're going to take a look at the content library. The content library is a place where important course documents can be stored for student use. Students cannot edit, but they can copy pages into their own notebooks. When it comes to sharing content with students, OneNote gives teachers so much freedom to embed all kinds of materials they already use, whether it's visual, audio, or text. And the cool thing about text in OneNote is that it can be read to students by turning on the Immersive Reader. To do this, you click on View, Immersive Reader, and the play button.
Link to textbook. A content library is a place where important course documents can be stored for student use.
I've added 5 sections to the content library. On this page, I uploaded a PDF from the Bridges Educator website. Notice I uploaded the student book. Teachers can easily upload student resources from Bridges into their class notebook. A really neat thing about Class Notebook is that students can solve problems right on the PDFs by either typing in their answer or by going to the drawing menu, selecting a pen color, and drawing in their answer. Notice that this PDF is asking students to tell how they know. Students can click on audio and record an explanation. This next page I titled Specialist Team. I was trying to think of a way that specialists could use OneNote, and what I thought was that all of you are probably looking for an easy way to make instructional videos and keep that content organized. So what you could do is hit the Windows key on your keyboard, click on the camera icon, and then go to take a video. Once you've recorded your video, you could click on the thumbnail, and then what that will do is it'll allow you to open up a folder where you've saved that video by clicking on the three dots in the top right-hand corner. Next, after you click on Open Folder, the video will save to your local C drive in the camera roll. That folder will open, and you can simply click and drag that into a table that you've made into OneNote. I think this would be a great way to organize all the videos that you make. This next page I copied from a OneNote Jeff shared with all the first grade teachers in the district. I'm going to let him share with you how he created that.
So earlier in the school year, the first grade teachers at my school wanted to create kind of a repository of the Lead 21 stories in grade 1. And so what we did was a fairly elaborate project, but this, the OneNote allowed us a great place to organize and to keep all of our various elements. So to kind of break it down for you, there's 8 different units in the Lead 21 series for first grade. And we also broke it down by intensive, by strategic, and by the benchmark books. Okay, so if I just click on this first one here, just to show you what we created, this is the first book that the first graders read in this part of Lead 21. And so there's a QR code which was created online. And when students use this QR code, the teachers print this out and they put it on their classroom wall. They take their iPad, the students do, and they go ahead and open up the QR code. It launches a video that looks kind of like this, all right? And so what I did was I took photographs of each page of each book, and I think there was about 200 of them. So this did take several months to put together, but this is something, you know, that they're going to be able to use hopefully for years and years. So I have every page of the book, and then I use those photographs to make a video of the book. So the students will scan the QR code, and then they see a video that looks like this. Fun with friends. We play together. We smile together. So you get the idea. The students are able to then listen to the stories. Now the teachers, the first grade teachers, are creating some Seesaw activity links. And with these links, the students are able to read and record their own voices going through each of these stories. And as I click through from unit to unit, you can see that every unit is set up the same way all the way to unit 8, in which, you know, the books are, of course, getting a little more advanced. That project was a good example of exploring the do's and don'ts of copyright, because when I was asked to do that by the first grade teachers, one of my first thoughts was, can I do that? You know, are we allowed to do that? And I did some digging and asked around the district and found out that in that case, that was what would be considered acceptable use. As part of all these district presentations, you're going to see some slides to remind us as teachers about copyright law. And, you know, in light of all this distance learning that we've kind of has been thrust upon us, we have to remember what the copyright law says. And we're not going to read it to you right now, but it is up to every teacher to go in and take a look at that and think about how that applies to you and your classroom and what you're doing with your students.
Other content that you might put in the content library could include announcements for students. On these pages, I simply copied the video link that our principal sent me, and I pasted it right into the page. A student agenda is a great tool to post in the content library. Here you can see I have links to videos, links to a quiz that I created in Microsoft Forms, a link to a PDF that I'd like the students to read. I also have a link to the Clever portal and a listing here of activities that I would like them to do in Seesaw. And then over on the right, I created a column for homework for students to do, and I put these tags in here so that students could click on them after they finished what they were working on. Here are two other ways you could keep your students organized. You could provide them a daily agenda, or you could provide them a remote learning schedule with all the links to your Zoom sessions on this page. This is an example of a document that you can post in the content library. All you simply do is upload a PDF, and the students will see that in their class notebook. To do this, all you would have to do is click on Class Notebook, Distribute Page, and over on the right, a dialog box will ask you to which page in the student notebook you'd like to distribute that to. On this page, you can see that I uploaded a 4th grade fall math task. Sometimes in Seesaw, when you upload PDFs, they're very difficult for students to write on because they appear very small on their screen. But when you upload a PDF to OneNote, the page remains the same size and is very easy to write on. In this example, I would copy the task from the private teacher-only notebook to the content library because I wouldn't want this task to be out there for students to look at any time. I'd only want to push it out there when I'm ready to assign it. By now, I'm hoping that you're able to see how Class OneNote is a place for you to save all kinds of different things, like MP4s, PowerPoints, pictures that students drew, links to YouTube channels, PDFs, documents, and so much more. Let's take a look at some of the things you might put in your teacher-only section of your Class OneNote. In this example, you can see a unit that I planned with another teacher. We mapped out how we would do blended learning, and we included all the links on this page. Links to Seesaw activities, videos, Padlets. We also have a link to a screencast that my teaching partner made. All kinds of things all in one place. On this page, you'll see all the tools that I think I would ever need to teach a math lesson. There are links to the Bridges Educator site. There's a link here to tutorials, to the digital display materials. These would be very easy to pull up during distance learning. Over here on the right, I have a link to a PowerPoint. Maybe that's where I create my lesson that I'm going to be sharing with students. I could have days of the week and mapped out what digital displays I want to show. I also could upload all the curriculum materials that I would need. If you would like to upload curriculum materials, just make sure you understand that the upload must be smaller than 19 megabytes. I see here that this teacher's guide is 26 megabytes. One way around that would be to download this PDF, and then once it's downloaded, you would open it up and you would hit Control P. When you hit Control P, the print dialog menu opens up. You could choose Microsoft Print to PDF, and then you choose the range of the pages that you'd want to print, and that would allow you to pull out and extract certain pages of that PDF, making that file much smaller. Also notice here that I have links to activities of the day, links to family games, practice pages, online games, the free math apps, and also a random number generator. If I needed to teach from home, I could go to this place in my OneNote and prep my computer before each Zoom meeting. Prior to my session, I would open up all the tabs for the lesson and keep them open. That way, when I'm sharing my screen and I'm teaching, I could quickly navigate through the content while keeping my students' attention. The delivery of the content through a Zoom session is definitely not the same as face-to-face, but at least with a Class OneNote, I can quickly organize and collect the materials I would need to teach a lesson. On this page of my planner, I'm pasting links to all of the Seesaw activities I made into a table I created into Class OneNote. And if I click on this link here, it'll take me to a spreadsheet that a good friend of mine made and shared with me. And here you can see all of the other Seesaw activities that I have now access to very quickly. As I said earlier, you might consider downloading all of your teacher guides and putting them into your Class OneNote. And look here, I finally found a place for all those tech training documents that my tech coach gives me. Now, if I have any questions about Infinite Campus, I know where to look. Briefly, I want to show you the student notebook section. You can upload resources right into student notebooks, or you can place documents in the content library and ask your students to copy them into their OneNote. The student notebooks can have as many sections as you would like. The default is 4, but in my example, you can see that I have 8. It's a good idea to predetermine what these sections will be when you're creating your notebook, because your notebooks will sync better. As I said earlier, students can write on the OneNote by adding their text or drawing on the PDF. This is going to be able to create a paperless environment for you and your students. In summary, I believe that OneNote Class Notebook can help you become organized and possibly change the way that you teach. I'm hopeful that you saw from this demo an application or two for your own classroom.
So we also want to touch on what it looks like from the student perspective. So when you create a class notebook, your students will get an email, and it will tell them that their teacher has created and sent them and shared with them a class notebook. And they're going to go ahead and open it up. And then once they open their class notebook, this is kind of the welcome screen. You can see that I've got the student name blotted out, but their name will appear there. And each of the sections, which Donna went over, will have kind of a little tutorial page with additional information and kind of a little brief how-to for each of those sections. When the student clicks on their name, it opens up this drop-down menu where you're going to see all of the sections that the teacher has created, whether they're the default ones or whether there are sections that the teacher has added. And then Donna talked a little bit about adding forms or quizzes. So when you add a form or a quiz into your class notebook on the student side, they'll just see it display like that. They'll go ahead and click and upload their answers. And then as a teacher, you'll be able to click into forms and you'll be able to see the results immediately, which will look basically like that. The end of the PowerPoint here, we do have additional resources. This is, like I said in the video, a really great website, OneNoteForTeachers.com, if you want to go back and read more and explore more about this tool. There are some interactive teacher guides and lots of other great resources. So thanks for watching, and we hope this has been helpful.